Before you end this module, I do want to share some really quick conversation tips. Number 1, speak their language. Do not use words like BOD, like B-O-D, nobody knows what that means, or challenge pack, or challenge group, or things like that, because your people that you're talking to have no freaking clue what you're talking about. And that goes for on your social media too. Like, don't call it BOD, and don't call it a challenge pack or anything like that. You have to remember, the only people who know what those things mean are people who are coaches and people who are in Beachbody. So when you're explaining things, you might want to call it, instead of a challenge pack, a sale bundle, or something that people can understand what that means. Or if you do say challenge pack, explain what that means. So we're going to get you started with a challenge pack, which is a 30-day supply of Shakeology and a year subscription to Beachbody On Demand, which is like Netflix for fitness. You have to explain those things because people don't know what the heck you're talking about. It's like speaking your language in a foreign country. So you have to remember those things when you're talking to people. Tip number 2, you want to ask more questions to get more answers. You need to be more interested in these people than you are trying to be interesting. Because when you ask questions about people, they're going to give you information that you're going to be able to use to say, hey, you said you wanted to do this, this, and this. Well, this is what I have that's going to help you achieve X, Y, and Z. So questions, just keep asking them questions, getting to know them more, get to know their goals so that when you present them with what you have, they're able to see how that's going to help them in their life. And something else that's probably going to happen to you after you invite someone, they're probably, not all the time, but some people will say, sure, how much does it cost? Don't tell them. Don't tell them, don't tell them. Seriously. If you want to lose that person, tell them. Tell them how much it costs. If you want to help that person, don't tell them. Because you want them to see the value in what it is that you have before you tell them how much it is. Think about it this way. If I showed you a house, I showed you a photo of a house, and I said, this house is $2.5 million. Would you want to buy it knowing how much it costs without knowing anything about the house? Without knowing that it was a 10-bedroom home, without knowing that it had a pool on the roof, without knowing that it had a jacuzzi tub in the master bedroom, and there was a pool in the house too, an inside pool, and the kitchen was amazing, and it had a 5-car garage. Like, without knowing those details, would you want to buy a house for $2.5 million? I doubt it, unless you had like money that you could just blow, and I don't think any of us do. So it's the same thing with this. You don't want people to know how much it costs before they know what they're getting, before they know what it comes with, before they know that you're actually included in it. You're going to be their coach, that person to help them. How many times have they failed in the past and tried a diet and tried this and tried that? That didn't work because they didn't have you. They didn't have someone holding them accountable. So you don't want to tell them how much it is. And when people ask you how much does it cost, what you want to do is say, well, it just depends on what it is that you need to get started, and there are a couple of different ways to do that. Do you mind if I ask you a few questions to get to know what your goals are? And the more I know about your goals, the more I can help you. Boom. Do you mind if I ask you a few questions to figure out how to get you started? Boom. That's how you're going to overcome that. How much does it cost? Because you can't answer it yet because you don't want them to say, oh, I don't need that, because you know they need it and you want to help them. And the last thing is a very technical wording thing. So when you're talking to people and you want to share a video with them, or you want to share some information with them or something like that, you want to use the phrase, if I were to fill in the blank. So if I were to send you a quick webinar to check out, or if I were to send you a video, or if I were to send you some information, would you be willing to check it out? Or would you be willing to watch it and let me know what questions you have? That phrase, if I were to blank, would you be willing to blank, is going to be your best friend. You always want to be asking that. You don't just ever want to send someone information and leave it at that, because they're not going to look at it. They're not going to message you back when they're done. You want to really set the guidelines. You want to set the expectations. Look, I'm sending you this. If I'm going to send this to you, are you willing to watch it? And I'll follow up with you on X date. So they know, hey, I better watch this by then because this chick's going to follow up with. And one more that I did mention in a previous training is whenever you tell someone the price, you want to say, does that sound reasonable to you? Or some other questions you may want to ask are, Does that sound like something that could help you reach your goals? Does that sound like something that could help you stop skipping meals? Or does that sound like something that could help you find time to work out or build your self-confidence? Whatever their goals are, you want to say, does this sound like something that could fill in the blank with their goals? Because they're going to say yes, because they cannot say no to that.